In this slide, we are focusing on an overview of CVE 2024-38014, which is a Windows installer elevation of privilege vulnerability. This security issue is significantly impactful as it allows local attackers to escalate privileges to gain system-level access, which is the highest operating system privilege level in Windows. This vulnerability is rated with a CVSS score of 7.8, identifying it as a high-severity risk. It affects multiple Windows operating systems, including Windows 10 and 11, as well as several Windows Server versions. Understanding and addressing this vulnerability is critical for maintaining security and protecting these systems from potential breaches. This slide provides an overview of CVE 2024-38014, a privilege escalation vulnerability present in Microsoft Windows installer. This security flaw specifically enables local attackers to elevate their privileges to system level, which can lead to serious security risks. The vulnerability has been assigned a CVSS score of 7.8, classifying it as a high-severity issue. Systems affected include various versions of Windows 10 and 11, as well as multiple Windows Server editions. For further information, you can refer to the Microsoft Advisory and the NVD description that provide detailed insights into this vulnerability. Let's examine the specific operating systems impacted by the CVE 2024-3814 vulnerability. This vulnerability affects a range of Windows operating systems, including Windows 10 versions such as 1507, 1607, 1809, 21H2, and 22H2. In addition, Windows 11 is also impacted, specifically versions 21H2, 22H2, 23H2, and 24H2. Furthermore, several versions of Windows Server are affected, including 2012, 2016, 2019, and 2022. Understanding which systems are vulnerable is critical for identifying which installations may be susceptible to this privilege escalation flaw. Ensure that your organization is aware of these affected versions so that necessary precautions and updates can be implemented swiftly. This slide covers the nature, cause, and mechanism of the identified vulnerability in Windows systems related to the Windows installer service. The vulnerability arises from improperly managed privilege boundaries, specifically during MSI repair functions. This can inadvertently lead to an escalation of privileges. The mechanism behind this vulnerability involves executing system commands with elevated rights, potentially allowing for unauthorized administrative actions on the system. Understanding these details is necessary to comprehend the extent and potential impact of the vulnerability for the affected operating systems. Now, let's focus on the exploitation method associated with this vulnerability. Attackers aiming to exploit this vulnerability need to have local access to the target machine. They can then leverage the MSI repair functions to execute commands with elevated privileges. The attack involves initiating a repair process and intercepting the elevated command during its execution. By carefully injecting malicious payloads at the right moment, attackers can gain administrative privileges, thereby compromising the system. Understanding these attack steps is essential for identifying and mitigating potential security breaches in systems utilizing the Windows installer. This scenario illustrates a real-world example of how an attacker can exploit a vulnerability found in MSI installers. Using a tool known as MSI Scan, the attacker identifies installers that are susceptible to exploitation. Once a vulnerable installer is pinpointed, the attacker initiates a repair of a legitimate software package. This process is leveraged to elevate their privileges to the system level. This elevation enables the attacker to execute commands with administrative rights, bypassing standard user restrictions. This highlights the importance of vigilance in managing software installations and system privileges effectively. To protect systems against MSI installer vulnerabilities, it's vital to adopt a robust set of mitigation strategies. Start by applying patches immediately. Microsoft addressed this specific vulnerability in their September 2024 security update, which should be implemented without delay. Furthermore, enforce user access control by establishing strict local access policies and adhering to the principle of least privilege. This significantly reduces the risk of unauthorized privilege escalation. Additionally, leveraging monitoring tools is imperative. Use endpoint detection and response (EDR) solutions to detect suspicious activities early and respond swiftly, preventing any potential attacks from escalating. These strategies collectively fortify your defenses against threats targeting MSI installers. As we look at this slide focused on fixes and patches, let's start by examining Microsoft's role in enhancing security measures. One significant fix is their introduction of User Account Control, or UAC, prompts designed to thwart unauthorized privilege elevations during repair processes. This addition reinforces security by ensuring that only approved actions can take place, minimizing potential exploit avenues. In terms of tools, Microsoft offers comprehensive security guidance. It is essential to follow these best practices and correctly configure UAC settings within your systems. By leveraging these updates and guidelines, you can effectively bolster your defenses against potential threats. For those interested in expanding their understanding of vulnerabilities like CVE-2024-38014, there are additional resources available that can offer more insights. The SEC Consult blog provides detailed analysis and latest updates regarding CVE 2024-38014, which can be a valuable asset for anyone looking to study this specific vulnerability further. Additionally, the Rapid7 Vulnerability Database is a comprehensive source for tracking known vulnerabilities and gaining a deeper grasp of potential security risks. These resources will help you stay informed and enhance your security practices. As we wrap up this module, let's focus on some essential points. The key takeaway here is the importance of regular updates and implementing strict access controls to help mitigate vulnerabilities, such as CVE 2024-38014. It's imperative to stay informed about the latest security patches and advisories to maintain a robust defense. For those interested in extending their learning, I recommend reviewing micropatches specifically addressing CVE 2024-38014. This knowledge can be beneficial in enhancing your cybersecurity toolkit. On this slide, we have the references, which provide additional resources for understanding CVE 2024-38014. The National Vulnerability Database is an authoritative source that offers detailed information about this particular vulnerability. It's an excellent starting point for anyone seeking to understand the technical specifics and threat level associated with CVE 2024-38014. Additionally, the Microsoft Security Response Center provides valuable insights and advisories directly from Microsoft regarding this vulnerability. This is essential for anyone operating within Microsoft environments, as it offers guidance on protecting systems and applying necessary updates. These references are indispensable for staying informed and proactive in addressing this vulnerability.